But before we do that, let's do a shout out to our sponsors. Speaking of the debate around retconning and alternate universes and narrative progressions, and if you like this kind of discussion, this kind of fandom exploring why and how especially freaky things, art and film and music work or sometimes don't work, then you should check out our friends over at Freaky Fandoms. They do a podcast, usually on a weekly basis.
Yeah.
And they've just passed their 100th episode.
Yep. Is this their 100th?
Well, it says it right there.
It is. It's our 100th episode. It's right there.
And so they have a special guest, Bradley Kornish, on. And what they're talking about is a topic that I find very interesting, and that is something called Kindertrauma. Do you know what Kindertrauma is, Martin?
I do. It's movies or TV. Is it just specific to them that traumatized you as a child?
I suppose it could be an uncle, a creepy uncle.
No, I mean books, music.
Right.
Because I also have some examples of that. But yeah, they specifically said movies and TV.
I do believe that they're focused on movies that traumatized us growing up. Now, do you have a movie that traumatized you growing up?
Considering that I'm actually a big fan these days of sort of like end of the world zombie apocalypse type stories, I was terrified out of my pants of the undead when I was younger. So it took me a long time to pluck up the courage to even watch Michael Jackson's Thriller video and the original Day of the Dead.
The Romero film.
That was the bunker one.
George Romero's film, yeah.
That was just so grim and depressing and terrifying. Zombie stuff used to freak me the hell out.
Yeah, well, what got me was as a child, I had been taken to the movie theater, and this would have been like 1982 or 83, so I was like 10 years old, and I think they were playing, I don't know if it was E.T. or Close Encounters, but it was some family-friendly, hey, yeah, let's take the kid to see that and leave him in the theater movie. And I decided to sneak out of this G or PG-rated movie and go into this room where it was showing something called John Carpenter's The Thing. And, the movie starts off just pretty dry and cold, and you don't realize where it's all going until, like, at one point there's just a dog that explodes with tentacles everywhere. And I remember...
Fleshticles.
That was my first time being traumatized by fleshticles, and they came out of a dog. And Kurt Russell, God, that was it's such a good. Anyway, it traumatized the shit out of me, and I remember being so scared that I almost peed in my pants, and I couldn't. I couldn't get out. I couldn't get out of the chair because it was dark in the room, and I was afraid to leave my chair, but I also did not want to be in that room anymore. And it took me quite a while to finally get the courage to go to run out of there and not pee in my pants. I don't think I peed in my pants. I hope I didn't. Maybe I did a little bit. I might have peed a little bit.
Thinking about this topic, it reminded me, actually, Charlie Brooker did a section on something like this. And probably a lot of people out there don't know of this. We had a TV show back in England long time ago called Jigsaw. And they had a character in that called Mr. Nosy Bonk.
Yep.
And I'd forgotten all about him until Charlie Brooker mentioned this guy.
Wow.
And Jesus Christ, I can't believe this was a children's character.
He was pretty scary, huh?
I mean, look at it.
Yeah, that's pretty terrifying.
And he was just supposed to be some sort of like Mr. Bean-esque, laughable character. But I mean, look at him go.
Yeah, that's not good at all. That's absolutely drugs right
Uh.
there. Very much drugs. I like this Nosy Bonk approves. Well,
dear.
So if you're into this kind of thing, if you like your nosy bonks, and if you were traumatized and otherwise destroyed as a child by some horrible, scary thing, and also if you want to support us by helping to support our wonderful sponsors, then please head over to Freaky Fandoms. They are on SoundCloud. They are on I think Instagram, Twitter, YouTube. Of course, they have a Patreon. All the links are in the description below. And so please go and check them out and maybe share with them what traumatized you. What was your Mr. Nosy Bonk?